At its core, Squid Game is not merely a brutal survival contest, but a profound clash between two opposing worldviews, one representing the despair and cruelty of power, and the other embodying the light of hope and humanity. Seong Gi-hun, player 456, though neither the smartest nor the strongest, won by preserving what the game tried hardest to strip away: his humanity. At the final moment of the game, when every reward seemed to favor violence and selfishness, Gi-hun chose a different path. He didn't defeat the front man through force or cunning. He defeated him with a simple truth: he was not like him. The front man, once a past winner and the older brother of Hwang Jun-ho, is the dark reflection of what Gi-hun could have become. He was once a player, someone who had felt the pain of the survival game firsthand. But instead of using that experience to break the cruel cycle, he chose to become a part of it. Hiding behind a mask, the front man now oversees the game with chilling detachment. His transformation is a heartbreaking testament to how a person, when wounded too deeply, can abandon morality in exchange for power. When survival takes precedence over compassion, when power becomes more alluring than human connection, one risks losing their very sense of self. Gi-hun also walked a similar path, but he turned away. He entered the game empty-handed, with a life stuck in deadlock, full of failures, from being a father to being a son. He too was covered in wounds, no different from those who shared the same fate. The game exposed the darkest sides of human nature, and at times, Gi-hun also fell into lies and despair. However, what made him different was that he never fully surrendered to that cruelty. Throughout the journey, Gi-hun consistently showed compassion, despite the risks. He shared food, mourned those who were lost, and protected others even when it put his own life in danger. These actions did not make him stronger according to the brutal rules of the game. On the contrary, they made him more vulnerable to elimination. But it was exactly those actions that kept him grounded, that kept him human. This is most clearly shown in the final episode of Season 1, when only Gi-hun and Sang-woo were left. His old friend who had betrayed him, Gi-hun, could have ended his opponent to claim victory. The rules of the game were clear: kill or be killed. But just as he gained the upper hand, when revenge seemed justified and deserved, he stopped. He reached out his hand, offering an alternative, a way to end it without bloodshed. In that moment, Gi-hun broke the entire logic of the game. He proved that even in the harshest conditions, kindness could still exist. And that was what made those who controlled the game tremble. Not stopping there, when the game continued to be held and kept taking the lives of innocent people, Gi-hun faced a new choice. He could remain silent and live on with the prize money, or return to put an end to it. And this time, it was no longer for himself. He came back with the determination to change the entire system so that no more children would lose their mothers, and no one else would be turned into pawns in a blood-stained game of entertainment. He refused to let the death of an innocent child be the price of his silence. That choice didn't look heroic, but it was the final voice of humanity in the midst of hopeless darkness. This is the moment when the real confrontation with the frontman takes place, not through force, but through morality. The frontman believes that human nature is selfish, that under the right circumstances, anyone will betray and kill each other for personal gain. This is also the belief that the VIPs watching the game strongly assert, but Gi-hun completely refuted that argument. By choosing forgiveness over revenge, by refusing victory if it meant sacrificing his humanity, Gi-hun became a living rebuttal to the entire system that the frontman represents. This is the moment when the real confrontation with the frontman takes place, not through force, but through morality. The frontman believes that human nature is selfish, that under the right circumstances anyone will betray and kill each other for personal gain. This is also the belief that the VIPs watching the game strongly assert. But Gi-hun completely refuted that argument. By choosing forgiveness over revenge, by refusing victory if it meant sacrificing his humanity, Gi-hun became a living rebuttal to the entire system that the frontman represents. When leaving the game, Gi-hun didn't touch the prize money. To him, that money was stained with blood. He lived in emptiness, sorrow, and the burden of a survivor. But even in that pain, he did not forget. When he learned that the game was still continuing, he made a decision. It had to be stopped. This was the final declaration of his choice. While the frontman chose to serve evil, Gi-hun chose to stand against it. Even knowing it would come at a cost, he still moved forward. Not as a flawless hero, but as a human being refusing to stay silent in the face of injustice. Gi-hun's strength lies in his unwavering belief in humanity. In a world that teaches people to think only of themselves, he still thinks of others. In a survival game, he dares to believe in kindness, and even in the moment most prone to moral collapse, he chooses forgiveness. That is not just a moral victory, it is a true act of rebellion against an inhumane system. We often praise heroes who defeat evil with strength, but Squid Game delivers a deeper message. True victory is not about destroying the enemy, but about not becoming like them. Gi-hun defeated the frontman by holding on to what he had lost: compassion, dignity, and a soul. Through that, he lit a small but powerful spark of hope in a cold, indifferent world. Even though the frontman still controlled the game, he was the one who truly lost. As for Gi-hun, even though he had sacrificed his own life, he was still himself. Still human. Still capable of love.